Hi, welcome to the Celebrity Gossip Channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Beyonce&Jay Z getting exposed by their alleged bodyguard from the past. I'm also going to be talking about Latto allegedly shading IceSpice and Nicki Minaj. Then I will also be talking about the Michael Jackson biopic finally being confirmed by his estate and his family. So last week I did create a video about the rumor going around that there would be a Michael Jackson biopic, and it did appear that recently his estate and his nephew Jafar Jackson, who is the son of Jermaine Jackson, who is Michael Jackson's brother and was also a member of the Jackson 5. So Jafar Jackson will be playing Michael Jackson in the biopic. So the family did confirm that they were involved, and I obviously realized they were confirming their involvement in the biopic when Michael Jackson's son ended up saying the following on Instagram. So Michael Jackson's son Prince ended up saying, "My cousin Jafar Jackson is going to be playing my father in the upcoming biopic produced by GK Films and directed by Anquan Fuke. Truthfully, I couldn't be happier and prouder for him. He's been working his ass off and I know he's going to do an amazing job. Just being himself, he embodies so much of my dad, and I'm confident we're all going to do our best to show a world a part of my dad they've never seen and that they deserve to see. To all of my family's fans and supporters out there, thank you for your continued support and love. We all know my father and Jafar's uncle was an incredible human being, and everyone at GK Films is dedicated and excited to bring in my father's story to the big screen. This project means so much to me for many reasons. I'm really happy that my family and I can go on this journey together. At Jafar Jackson, I know you're going to do great, bro. And again, I couldn't be prouder and happier for you." That was what Michael Jackson's son Prince said on Instagram. So obviously when he said that, that was him confirming that he was involved in the project. Then Jafar Jackson then went on to basically post a picture of him in a similar outfit that looks like something Michael Jackson would wear. So obviously this is him like indicating he's rehearsing or something. And then he went on to say, "I'm humbled and honored to bring my Uncle Michael's story to life. To all the fans all over the world, I'll see you soon." I am happy that the family is involved, because I did say the only scenario I would be completely happy with this is if the family was involved, because I wasn't really comfortable with an instance where, it's just a bunch of random people making a biopic about a famous person. Now you have to deal with someone who was a friend of that person, someone who knew that person personally, because then at least then we get some accuracy. If his nephew is playing him, who obviously knew him, if the nephew is involved, I would assume his dad Jermaine, who was Michael Jackson's brother, would also be involved. So that's why I am happy to hear that the family is involved in the project. Because I feel like if they are involved, we will get an accuracy of what he was actually like. I don't think has really been portrayed well in the media, because everyone has their own perception of what Michael Jackson likes. But I don't care about what your perception like is of Michael Jackson. I really couldn't care less. I care about what the actual person was like, So I feel like that should be presented accurately. And I feel like the only way we will ever truly get that is if the family involved, and it's not just the media reporting what they want to report. Because media, they have bias. A lot of people can be very biased, but the issue is when it comes to presenting news on other people, you have to be unbiased. But I don't see that whenever people report on him. So I am happy that they are involved in this project. And in the midst of that being announced, I did kind of think, right, because obviously I had seen the rumors that to be some sort of biopic, and then I was also thinking, right, just as soon as it got announced, who would play Joe Jackson? Like I was literally thinking that, because there was only one person that came to my head when I thought of Joe Jackson. Because the thing is with Joe Jackson, right, he was obviously Michael Jackson's father, and as abusive as he may have been, he was very instrumental in the success of the Jackson 5, because he would train them and stuff like that. But obviously the issue is he began being abusive and would be very aggressive towards his children, and would beat them when they would sing wrong notes, and it did cause Michael Jackson, of course, to be afraid of his father. In the midst of me literally hearing about this news, I was literally thinking about who could play Joe Jackson. So I thought of Lawrence Fishburne, I don't know whether the estate or whoever's in charge of casting has thought about that, would do a good job of playing Joe Jackson. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because I saw years ago when Angela Bassett played Tina Turner and Lawrence Fishburne played Ike Turner. He did a phenomenal job. So because he played Ike Turner, I can see him playing Joe Jackson because I feel like he would be good in a role like that. But anyway, and I will most definitely be reviewing it when it is released. But there is no official release date of it, not to my knowledge anyway. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen any official release date of the biopic. But anyway, moving on from that, Latto recently put out a freestyle to SZA's Smoking on My Ex-Back, and the song received a lot of attention, not necessarily for good reasons. Well, I mean, some people obviously like the song, whilst others didn't. It did kind of get mixed reviews, but the main reason why it got so much attention is because people felt like she was shading IceSpice and Nicki Minaj. They felt this way because apparently Latto had a line in the song where she said, it's still giving coke. And if you know a lot from the last few years, a lot of people have alleged that Nicki Minaj does cocaine. Now, I don't personally believe that. A lot of Nicki's fans don't believe that, which they shouldn't. Because if you know, Nicki did recently sue Nosy Hoax and currently has an ongoing lawsuit against her for obviously, alleging that she does cocaine, which if she's going to sue her, Nicki will she's probably gonna have to do like some sort of testing, and if obviously she's able to do like a test to obviously prove that she doesn't have any cocaine in her system, she's winning that lawsuit. So I do believe she wouldn't be out here suing people if she's never touched drugs in her life, not cocaine, of course. So yeah, I don't believe that argument, but yeah, Latto said that in the song. So obviously people believe that she was shading Nicki Minaj because a lot of people have been using that it's giving coke as a diss against her, because that's the narrative that's been going on about her. So there have been people trying to push out that narrative. But yeah, then people also think Latto shaded IceSpice because she had a line where she said, "Don't compare me to trends." In my opinion, I kind of feel like both of them in a sense of trends. I feel like IceSpice is what's hot now. I don't think Latto is really hot, and I feel like she was hot when Big Energy happened. I don't think she's really hot anymore. So I feel like if anything, they're both trends. I don't think Latto is above IceSpice. I don't think IceSpice is above Latto. I think they're both in the same art. I think, if we're talking talent, because none of them have any, but I do think IceSpice probably clearly has more hype around her name than Latto. So, but yeah, now here's my thing, right? I just don't understand the point of Latto trying to, because she's clearly causing drama here. Nicki is not online, and the reason why it irritates me is because I remember last year when that phone call leaked, when she published it, right? When she put out that phone call, when they were going back and forth to obviously try and make Nicki look bad, right? She literally said, in that phone call, that line wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. I did this so and so. Then why would you then say that line? We all know that bar was used to drag Nicki. It doesn't make any sense because now it looks like you were lying, And then obviously Nicki responds and she'll look like she's crazy. So it's intentional. So it feels like you're poking the bear. So when she responds, I want no complaints. But anyway, moving on from that, Billboard recently did an article. And in the article, they basically highlighted the fact that they kind of felt like Nicki was snubbed by the Grammys because out of all the artists that had producers on their song, she was the only artist whose song was produced by a female producer. And they went on to say, in 2022, statistics also show that the Recording Academy's Women in the Mix pledge, which also asks industry members to commit to working with a woman producer and an engineer on a song, had no real impact on the charts. In 2022, only one pledge taker, Nicki Minaj, worked with a woman producer, Malibu Barbie, on a song that appeared on the Billboard Hot 100 year-end chart. Meanwhile, no pledge takers worked with a woman engineer last year. So they were obviously calling out the fact that Nicki was the only one who worked with a female producer, and interestingly enough, she was the one who ended up not getting nominated. So they were basically saying women who were producing songs were not getting their songs that they produced were not getting nominated, and I do think that is a bit interesting because I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't even thought about the fact that a lot of these artists weren't getting their songs produced by women. Now, hypothetically speaking, I don't really care who people get their songs produced by, work who you want to work with. However, I do think it's very interesting because I have seen at times the narrative get put out that she has issues with other women, or that she doesn't like to work with them or share the stage, which I've always thought is ridiculous, because in 2022 alone, she had the Queen mix with what, 5 other female rappers. She had the Little Mix remix with those 8 other female rappers. So she's always been collaborating with other female artists. But anyway, the final topic I want to talk about is JayZ and Beyonce getting exposed, or allegedly exposed, by the alleged former bodyguard. So there's this bodyguard going around who claims he used to work for her back in 2004. And there was a picture that was floating the internet because people believed that this was him. And he made a lot of wild accusations.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are, how you step on anybody to stay on the top. So remember, your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there. See, what's done in the dark will definitely come in the light. Keep your threats up. I'm here today, and what I got to say, I'm gonna say it. So don't make idle threats to me. Cause see, I ain't Biggie. See, I ain't Beanie Siegels. I ain't Freeway. How you wrote all them off the minute they did for you to get you to the top. All them writing for you, and then the minute you get a little taste of success, you wrote them off. You just totally said, I don't know him. Say you don't know me. I dare you. I dare you. Remember, all the receipts, all the proof, the old school footage, I still have it. See, hardly nobody knows, but I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way. Y'all wish it what you wish it to stay on top. But there's one thing about me, bro. I can't be bought.
I don't necessarily believe that she was using drugs. I don't believe that. I think that's a huge reach, in my opinion. Now, if there was more evidence to back it up, then I'd be like, okay, I can see why people would say that. Because some people are trying to use the fact that in her upcoming tour, she had very strict guidelines. She said no drugs or alcohol. So a lot of people trying to say, oh, maybe this was her trying to resist the temptation. I feel like that's a bit of a reach, only because you wouldn't really want drugs or alcohol in your work environment, right? Because you want people to be in the right state of mind. That's how I took it. I didn't think it was her going, oh, I'm trying to resist temptation. I didn't really take it that way. So I do feel like when people said that was a bit of a reach. I don't believe she does drugs, and I would hope she doesn't, because we've lost a lot of stars like Whitney and Mac Miller, to drug addiction. So I would hope that's not the case. But yeah. But as for Carrie Hilson, we all know what happened to Carrie Hilson. I don't think it's fair for people to blame that on Beyonce, only because I don't think. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think Beyonce was out here making phone calls, and Carrie Hilson's career, that bitch Carrie Hilson. I don't think she was out here doing that. But I do think she is powerful in the industry. And when you go against people who are powerful in the industry, you're obviously going to get blacklisted, Like, you couldn't go to work and start talking shit about the boss in public, and then go back and think that it would end well for you. It wouldn't. You would have issues. So it's the same thing in Hollywood. There are people who are at the top of the food chain, and you can't go against them. It's just that simple. So if you have an issue with them, you don't talk about them. It's really that simple. And I feel like it probably wasn't necessarily her making phone calls trying to ruin Carrie Hilson's career. I also think it was the people in the industry, because they respected Beyonce. I don't think they were gonna, work with Carrie Hilson when she was publicly dissing someone that they might admire, and who was also bigger than them. So I feel like that's what it more was to do with, because who were they gonna have more of an alliance to? Someone who is a bigger star, or someone who, because Carrie Hilson was still big, don't get me wrong, but she never reached Beyonce's success. Like, let's just be honest, So I feel like that's what it's more to do with. But yeah, anyway. Right, just to let you know, also a reminder, I am still working on the Career Breakdown series. Like I said in the past, the Career Breakdown series is a new series I will be starting. It's based on showing the greatest moments and giving a run through of celebrities, actors, singers, musicians, etc. And I will be starting a new series on that. So if you have any requests on certain public figures you want me to create an episode or documentary on, let me know in the comment section, or you can let me know on Twitter or Instagram. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, let me know what you think about the topics down below. Do you think Latto is shading IceSpice and Nicki Minaj? Do you think that the biopic of Michael Jackson would be good, and will you watch it? And also let me know what you think about Beyonce&Jay Z. Do you think that Bodyguard was telling the truth? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.